Hey, welcome back. Happy Monday. First full week of summer, I guess. I know last week, one day, it was beginning of hurricane season. I always associate that with October, but I guess there's no better time to get prepared than a little bit ahead of time. But last week was a really busy week for us. We tried a case from Tuesday. Remember, we were off for Memorial Day Monday. Started Tuesday and we're through by Thursday. And the jury hung up at the end of it, so we got to retry that. You hear about hung juries or mistrials. Sometimes mistrials can mean one of the parties did something wrong. But most often what happens is there will be a jury discussion, and you'll have 10 on one side and 2 on the other, or 11 on one side and 1 on the other, and that's my understanding of what took place last week. But if they can't come to a unanimous decision, then it doesn't mean that you win or lose. It means that you got to retry it. You got to start everything over. So we'll have to retry that case, and certainly it's already set. We know how it should roll out, and we'll try it again. In another courtroom right down the hall, we had pleas all last week, and we posted, every time I post something, I don't want you to take from that this is, Jimmy is endorsing it. I believe that you deserve to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And it's not always 30 and 40 and 50 years. So sometimes, I'm not saying that I enjoy this, I'm just saying that this is what happened. And so we posted and we told about a Williamsburg man, Evans, 26 years old, of Coward, which is a little community out in Williamsburg County, pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. It involved the 2021 shooting death in Myrtle Beach. And he received a sentence of 15 years. Now, anytime, every time that you've got murder and both parties have a gun, or both parties are engaged in a fight, they're going to get the lesser included charge from murder to manslaughter. That is the law. That is what it is. Also mixed in with that is they're going to get an instruction most of the time on self-defense. So if you and I are in an argument, pushing and shoving, and I pull out a knife and you shoot me and I stab you and you die, when I'm on trial for that, the judge is going to tell them that if you believe that I killed that person, another, with malice or hatred, and I did planning, that is murder. That's how it's always charged. But that if you don't, as a jury, don't see malice because one side or the other was very angry, i.e. a pushing and a fight, then you must consider manslaughter. And manslaughter carries from 0 years to 15 years. The judge will also tell them about self-defense. In other words, Jimmy pulled the knife, you got a right to stand your ground, all of that stuff, which should be heard at a prior hearing, a stand your ground hearing. But not always is done that way, and that is because the defense attorney gets to pick what he puts up and what he doesn't put up. So these things are way more than you can take in a short article. But a lot of these things are complicated by the fact that there's a fight between the two people. And in this case, both people were shot. Now, as human being to human being and as citizen to citizen, we both live in Myrtle Beach, and I absolutely despise this type of case because you or I could be walking down that same stairwell and someone else could get hurt. But when you are in court, all you're looking at is that encapsulated time, like a photograph. who did what during this period. And the defense gets to go into a little bit more than the state does. We've got a higher burden of proof. So, you're not always, if you get into a fight with a person, especially if you go to their home, even if you are triggered to go to their home, even if you've got a reason to go to their home, all of that stuff is going to be into play. And when you've got a dueling gunfight and one person dies, those are the charges that are going to come out. This case was fully prepared for trial. The defense said, can we plea to voluntary? Because we're going to get a voluntary charge. You sure are. There ain't no doubt about that. So, yeah, you can go ahead and plea to voluntary. And he could have got up to 30 years. The judge gave him 15 years. That is not a crazy sentence. It would be a crazy sentence if you had a person that was going out and you had a person with clean hands. Like, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm licking on an ice cream cone, pushing my child to the Ferris wheel, and I get shot. That's straight up murder. There is no lesser included. But if me and you are shooting at each other, it's a different story. And, this is a lot of what we see in these cases. We see where there's not totally clean hands on each side. And I'm not trying to make excuses, I'm just telling you facts. The side that the state is on has to win 85 to 15, 90 to 10. It's got to be overwhelming. And all of that stuff is just the law. That is what it is. Like last week, it's got to be 12-0 to convict. It can't be 11-1. It can't be 10-2. It's got to be 12-0. Nobody's saying that it's all fair. I'm telling you that this is the system that we work inside. And I'm not advocating for 15 years is enough time, or 20 years, or 30 years. That's the judge's job. Our job is to try to present the evidence, the relevant evidence in the light most favorable to society. And those are the facts. We don't get to put up the facts. There are shell casings on one end of the hallway and shell casings on the other end of the hallway, and both people are shot. So I'm not saying I like it at all. It is just why you may see different sentences from time to time. So we'll come back. We're doing pleas again this week. We're doing the best that we can in a system that is set against the state. It just is. But we do the best that we can, especially in these cases where there's a loss of life. We do understand that somebody has lost their life and that somebody needs to pay for it. It's just that every murder is not created the same, and we have to take the facts as we are given them. We don't get to make them up. The defense gets to make up facts. The state don't get to do that. So I hope that explains a lot of it. I especially want you to understand that I'm not advocating for these sentences. I'm not bragging. A lot of times you get comments, oh, don't feel so proud about that. I'm not telling you I feel proud about it. I do believe you deserve the truth, and I want to give you the truth, the good, the bad, and all of it. So that's why we try to be as transparent as possible with these cases. If you had any comments or questions, please reach out. We try to address all of them. So again, that's just part of trying to be transparent about these things. Have a great week.